Live back again here at the National Bowling Stadium. Craig Elliott and Phil Bryler with the final 10 games of qualifying in the PBA World Championships. Jesper Svensson, he's really starting to open a big lead, Phil, over 300 pins over second place, Jason Belmonte.
It's just a matter of Svensson being Svensson. He just keeps pacing the way he is. No one's going to touch him. The all-important advantage of picking out the champion for the World Championship. Final five, if Jesper stays in first, it's going to be interesting because he hasn't seen a bad pattern yet. That's going to be a tough choice for him if he stays in first. We just had Jason Belmonte on our Facebook Live. If you missed that, go check it out after the round's done. And Jason's basically saying he hasn't given up yet. He's still chasing down Jesper. He thinks he still has a chance, even with only 10 games to go.
Yeah, it's a tall tale, but if anybody can do it, Jason's one of those guys. The way when he starts striking, he strikes forever. Some other players in that top five: Kyle Troop, Tom Smallwood. Tom finished second last year, looking to make another run here on the show and go for his second World Championship here on the PBA Tour.
And the thing is, with this cheetah pattern, we saw more diversity in the scores than any other pattern during these four qualifying rounds. You'd see guys come out and shoot 270, go in the next pair, shoot 180, 190. And you can't afford to be shooting 180s and 190s right now if you're trying to move up through this field. So consistency really going to be a key during this round on cheetah.
Yep. Guys that need to make a run need to find something quick and try to move up that step ladder because there's only 5 other games this afternoon after we're done on cheetah this morning. Enjoy the show. It is time for 5 games on cheetah. Last and final day here on World Championship qualifying. All part of the Geico World Series of Bowling 9 PBA World Championships right here at the National Bowling Stadium. Craig Elliott and Phil Bryler on the call with you here this morning, and we're starting things off with DJ Archer, Nick Crummell, Francois Lowe out of South Africa. And to their right, Chris Prather, Josh Blanchard, and Stu Williams here in game 1. 5-game block this morning on cheetah, 5 more games this afternoon on Scorpion, and then we will have our top 5 for the World Championship. And who is in it right now, Phil?
Oh, gee, here's a surprise. Jesper Svensson still on top, averaging 241 for his 50 games of competition at this point. Just amazing to watch on Extra Frame over this past week. Jason Belmonte in second. If you missed that Facebook Live, it's out there. PBA fan page on Facebook. Make sure you like that page. You get all the latest and greatest info from the PBA. Kyle Troop in third. Quietly Kyle making that advance through the field to get up in the 3rd position. Ryan Simonelli 4th. Tom Smallwood, a previous world champion, the original world champion, in 5th. And, you know, right now, 20 games or 10 games left. Anybody that's within 200 pins of 5th has got to think they probably have a chance. And you can get down to 24th place, Rhino Page, plus 1340. He's within, 213 pins of Tom Smallwood. Rhino's got to feel, hey, I got a chance. And with the number of lefties that dominated on this cheetah pattern during the qualifying round, you got to kind of think to yourself, there could be some lefties like Rhino making a move up the standings board. Anthony Pepe in 14th. Pepe had a solid cheetah championship. He qualified in 13th for when match play begins on that on Thursday. So that's a guy that could be making a move as well. And the guy that's been plugging away, looking for his last 10 games at the World Series, Sean Rash. He was in 15th after the original 40 games of qualifying, but he was the highest qualifier to not make an animal pattern final. Rash up in the 9th, less than 100 pins out of Smallwood's position. So, Sean's going to be looking to make a charge today, especially on this cheetah pattern. Sean was in that top 16 going into games 9 and 10 of qualifying on Saturday and promptly went 180, 160 to drop into a position in the 50s from the top 16. So, Sean's looking for a little revenge against this 33-foot cheetah pattern. And once again, with the Geico World Series of Bowling 9, only 3 days of coverage remaining on Extra Frame today, with the last 2 rounds of the World Championship. Tomorrow we bring you the Chameleon and Shark match play rounds beginning at 11 a.m. local time, 2 p.m. Eastern for the Chameleon, and 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for the Shark, as we pair those fields from 16 bowlers down to 4 for the ESPN finals. And then on Thursday, wrapping up Extra Frame coverage from the National Bowling Stadium for Geico World Series of Bowling 9. PBA Cheetah Championship presented by PBA Bowling Challenge match play begins at 11 a.m. local time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And the Pepsi PBA Scorpion Championship presented by Go Bowling. Round of 16 coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. Eastern here from Reno. Stu Williams, one of the 300 games bowled during this event, thrown by Stu. That was during the Scorpion Championship, Game 9, and that's what got him from outside of the top 49 overall to inside the number. Stu right now 43rd overall in the World Championship standings. Josh Blanchard sitting in 32nd overall. Blanchard's had a bit of a nice move over the last day. And Christopher Prather, 34th in the World Championship standings.
Francois Lowe comes in 29th position, about 240 behind 5th place. See, almost 300 behind. So Francois Lowe has got some work to do in this 10-game block. And of the 6 players here this morning, Lowe is the highest in the standings as we start. Cheetah. You would think this might be a tough one for DJ Archer. He likes to get in and loop it a little bit. And that just hasn't really been in play on Cheetah. Nice smooth shot for DJ there, though. Just do more of that, Deej.
Yeah, he had some struggles on Cheetah the other day, and he's definitely, from where we saw him last time, he's definitely trying to stay firmer and right a little bit more. It's always good to get a wave from a player while you're in the booth. Josh Blanchard giving us a wave before he'll be stepping up again.
Hi, Josh. And players that we will be seeing in the PBA Cheetah Championship presented by the PBA Bowling Challenge mobile game. The #1 seed Thomas Larson opens up against Bill O'Neill Thursday morning.
Yeah, that's one I'm really looking forward to. Larson, like qualifying on that, and Bill O'Neill, he had a tough finish that round and just barely hold on. Another match I'm looking forward to. A couple of lefties from the East Coast. Parker Bowen III, Anthony Pepe.
Yeah, a couple stand out. Andrew Kane, Ryan Semai, but even Francois Lowe and Trey Ford. First time both those players making a round of 16.
And how about that? 6 of those lefties paired against each other in that first round. The only non-lefty I see paired, up 2 non-lefties. You got Cooley against left-handed Balabi and left-handed Ismail against Jason Belmonte.
Some very interesting matchups. And that's just one of 4 match play rounds we're going to get to see here at Extra Frame starting tomorrow. Fill out your brackets. Make friendly wagers with your friends. Have fun with it. I'm going to fill out a bracket. How about you, Phil?
I just like letting the action unfold in front of me, letting the excitement happen that way.
Oh, you can fill it out after it's done. You got a better chance of hopefully getting the right answers then. Josh Blanchard's got the right answer so far today. Front 5 for JB. Take a look at the standings. Through 50 games. Svensson, Belmo, Troop, Simonelli, Smallwood are in. O'Neill, Sanders, McNeil, Rash, Kent, Dick Allen chasing close behind. And on down the line. Defending champion EJ Tackett in 28th. He found a way to get in on Scorpion. Made his way up to 22nd yesterday and then stumbled a bit to fall back to 28th.
Oh, we saw him on 25 and 26 yesterday, and boy, that carry and that chameleon pattern went away in a hurry for him.
That's is that the TV pair as well, 25 and 6?
25 and 6.
Keep an eye out for all those 710s we've seen on lane 25 today, and of course once we make that ESPN show. Like Anthony Pepe with the front 8 down on the high end of the house. Looking to make his move early here in Cheetah World Championship qualifying. Pepe is at plus 1423. Puts him 140 back.
Still within sights.
Oh, yeah, 300 game 1. That definitely makes you think you got a chance to get there. You know, with the average on Cheetah being in the 230s probably, you're still going to make up 60, 70 pins. Cut half that gap out. It's what Mr. Blanchard's trying to do here as well.
That's the thing. You look at some of these paycheck jumps. If some of these players, let's say like Josh, that are down in 32nd position right now, if he stays there, $2,850 he walks out the door with. Not a bad paycheck for a week's worth. The thing is, he might be outside of the number realistically to get to the show. But if he, let's say, gets to 16th position, instead of $2,800, he's taking out $5,900. I mean, there's a lot of money. You're not seeing any of these guys, even if they're in 47th, 48th, 49th position, like Franson Tang and Loschetter. They're fighting because every bit you move up on that standings board, it's a little more cash you get, and the cash jumps start getting a little bit better and better as you get into that top 16. So even though you may not be able to make the show, you can maximize your paycheck with a little recovery. Didn't we see some guy that was part of the EBI brands shoot a 300 game on this pair a couple of nights ago? Guy plays some other sport too. Plays cricket or
Tiger Woods.
Cricket, lacrosse.
LeBron James?
Tiddlywinks. No. He's not the Tiddlywink World Champion.
Boogie Betts.
Something with a glove. Yeah, a ball and a glove and a bat. Something about a gold glove he got earlier in the week. I can guarantee you, if you ask a trivia question, what Major League Baseball player won a gold glove and threw a 300 game in the same week? I think Mookie Betts would be your only solo answer.
John
on
Burkett?
that.
Has John Burkett ever got a gold glove?
I don't believe so. No.
So we better check that first before we get some false information.
No, because he played. Because he talked about it. He said, I think it was Tom Glavine that beat him out every year.
Oh.
Glavine was a phenomenal fielder in the pitcher's mound, but
darn Braves.
yeah, Burkett never did get a gold glove. He was in the All-Star game twice. Finished 4th in 1993 in the Cy Young voting. And he was 4th in Rookie of the Year voting in 1990. So that storied career that PBA 50 tour player John Burkett had. Mookie Betts, 2 All-Star appearances as well. Back-to-back years with gold gloves, and 2nd in the MVP voting in 2016 for Mookie, along with the Silver Slugger in 2016.
So you're saying he's fairly athletic and good at multiple sports, and
I love the
things,
headline the other day that Major League Baseball had, which is basically Mookie Betts throws 300 at the World Series of bowling because he's great at everything he does.
Mookie knows bowling.
He's fired up for the Chris Paul when that event happens. He's fired up to be part of that again. He was Tommy Jones's partner last year and finished 2nd.
No, he can't be a celebrity. Come on. He's got 300 at the World Series of bowling as a professional bowler.
We've had John Burkett on there before as a celebrity. So
sleeper pick right there.
Exactly.
Mookie Betts sneaking in.
You know Tommy Jones is all over that one again. Tommy's not letting go of that partner. There's no way.
Josh Blanchard, front 9. West Mulata chance to finish off game 1 with 280.
We just talked about the brackets, Craig. If fans want to print out their own brackets to fill out, they are available in the live scoring section on the homepage of PBA.com. All 4 animal pattern brackets for Geico World Series of Bowling 9 available for the fans to print out. PBA Chameleon Championship presented by Reno Tahoe. PBA Shark Championship presented by Extra Frame. PBA Cheetah Championship presented by PBA Bowling Challenge. And PBA Scorpion Championship presented by Go Bowling, titled by Pepsi for the PBA Scorpion Championship. Josh Blanchard thought he had it, staring it down on that outside angle. 6 around the 10, and the heartbreak once again for Josh Blanchard. Craig, since we are the presenting sponsor of the PBA Shark Championship, which one of us is sticking around to present the trophy to the winner of that event? Is it you? I know I'm not.
We'll get
Goodger?
Jeff.
We'll get Goodger?
The Gooch.
All right. I think it's only fair that Gooch present that trophy.
And a 279 for Josh Blanchard.
Get you a little room here. How's it going? Have a seat. Get you comfortable here with the headset and everything. So what you want to do is you want to keep this microphone and it's your
Starting with a strike for the Marshall Kent, Dick Allen, Tommy Jones threesome. Marshall Kent, urethane in hand on this 33-foot cheetah pattern. And a man with maybe not a microphone in his hand, but definitely one on his headset, joining us in the booth. Zeke Bate. And Zeke, a little waiting around here for these couple of World Championship qualifying days to finish, but you're back in action on Thursday when they hit the pattern these players will see this evening on the Scorpion Championship. What are you doing other than joining us in the Extra Frame booth? Killing some time here in Reno, waiting to bowl again.
Yeah, waiting to bowl again. Definitely studying as much as I can. I love to study these players' physical games and how they attack lanes, how they break down lanes. I was very interested, kind of walk through the building on certain pairs and see people breaking down a lane a certain way. Just definitely had some interesting ideas per player, per pair. So now it's watching their execution and just kind of the transitions and what they go through. And I'm just learning all I can, Always got to learn. And, ooh, DA with the off-the-wall washout pickup there, first frame. That's nice.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, it's just you watch, the guy you finished
boom
in good position at that Roth-Holman doubles championship in Portland, Maine this past April.
Yes, sir.
And I assume that you two will be bowling again in Columbus.
Yeah, my
That's
hometown.
close to home to you. Yeah, I was going to say
is
real
home.
Close to home.
Very excited for that.
You do a lot of bowling at Wayne Webb Center?
I do not, unfortunately. It's a very nice center. Has a lot of. I have a lot of friends that bowl there regularly, but it is unfortunately on the opposite side of town for me. So it's a 35-minute drive from my house. So a little too far to bowl stuff there, and a lot of the big stuff they have is when I am out and about. So I can't bowl there as much as I'd like, but I definitely bowl there when I can. It's a good center. And Francois Lavoie with a great shot, and he's 1470. So he's up there in the standings.
Yeah, Frankie, a shot maker, no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
And interesting on some statistics we had from Lane Talk, and looking at the scoring spread from pair to pair in this house, really not a lot of difference between 25 and 26 and 29 and 30 for these players. It was actually a little easier for the players to get to the pocket on 25 and 26, but the scoring was a little bit lower than on 29 and 30, and we've seen a rash of 7-10s on lane 25. I believe we saw one already this morning. And was there a pair in this house this week that really kind of bit you when you hit it? Or
not really. The pairs that bit me were more of the pairs that I was following someone who was doing something astronomically different than I was. Just kind of opposite ideas, and I didn't catch up enough, or I didn't catch up soon enough. It was just kind of me slow to figure out a wild transition. So, and I think that's what makes the pairs here a little tougher. It's not so much the topography themselves, so much as where the people have been playing before you when it gets down to a certain point. As we see a great shot there on 29 and 30 there by Mr. Peterson. But I was going to make this point. 25 and 26 looks to be an interesting pair already, as the first three guys broke them down to create shim or create hold. So I feel that some of the people that are throwing kind of more at the gutter, more resin-based, more big angles through the fronts, I think they're going to struggle on that pair, or at least struggle at first on that pair, especially with Carey, as we see Marshall's ball kind of wobble down lane, kind of a smack 7. But yeah, I think 25-26 is going to prove itself tricky for anyone trying to look at hook off the gutter instead of hold, because the original pair broke them down for hold.
What was your ball of choice, urethane or resin, on this cheetah pattern during qualifying?
Actually, and as we see Dick Allen there, 2810, I actually went back and forth. I went to urethane the first 5 games and went 70 over, and I did resin the last 5 and went 70 over. I had the exact same problem with both balls and both ideas. I did opposite ideas. I slow looped to the gutter urethane the first time I bowled cheetah, and then the last 5 games was very, very hard, very up it with very aggressive resin ball. So, and there's a lot of ways to attack this pattern, as I'm sure you guys have seen, and the people at home have seen through this live stream. There's a ton of ways to attack this pattern, get to the pocket. You can do it with a lot, but it's really more about what's going to increase your carry percentage, your carry consistency per pair, and just your look consistency per pair. What's going to give you the most opportunity to strike per pair, and to where the lane and per lane doesn't feel as different. And that's where I think Tomas Larson led this.
Correct.
So, and his look, he was on my pair. His ball blended it out absolutely perfectly front to back. Every time he got it there quick to the right, it never overhooked. And when he cut it short a little bit, he was clean enough at the bottom, and his ball was clean enough to where it never overhooked. So it always hit the 1-3. It always hit the 1-3 at a very similar angle regardless of where he was hitting. And he was hitting his target because he's great. So, that's the kind of look you want, is a very, very blendy, very energy-storing type of ball, as we see Tommy Jones here. Right off the gutter there. And that's the shape you want. You want it to pick right up, kind of right as it exits the pattern, maybe a little beforehand, and just go through the pins forward. You don't want it to deflect. And Marshall, although he throws a strike there, his ball looks like it's deflecting a little more on this pair than he wants it to. He's using urethane, so that would be a speed adjustment for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, you mentioned the struggles you had on Cheetah for the entire qualifying round. You averaged about a 60.7% carry percentage, but only on Cheetah you're only at 56.6%, so the carry percentage down just a little bit on Cheetah.
Yep.
For you, and then we'll get the thanks to our friends at Lane Talk. We'll get that Scorpion. We'll show the difference with the Scorpion.
Probably a very good difference there.
Yeah.
Tommy Jones looking for front 4 on lane 25 here. And I think this is the tighter of the two lanes, in my opinion, just from what I saw from the players beforehand. Ooh, late 10 snap out with the messenger. Very nice shot there from Tommy. That's front 4 for him.
Yeah, you carry almost 70% on the Scorpion.
Yep.
And a lot fewer splits left as well. Only 6% of your balls thrown during the Scorpion were splits, and you were clean 93% of your frames, so obviously you made a few of those splits as well.
Yes, sir.
You left more 2 pins than 10 pins that round.
Yes, I did. That was the.
That's an interesting stat. You only left 4 10 pins in 10 games, which is pretty tough to do here at the National Bowling Stadium, but you left 5 2 pins.
I did, and that was the common miss, was to get a little firm. And if you got a little firm on that pattern, the ball liked to go 17 more feet.
Zeke, what do you think Dick's going to do? He went, the washout and then 2-8-10 on this lane.
This one's got to be softer, sharper to it. There you go, right there. And that's the move right off. I'm sure that pair that they created down there hooked way more than this pair does. So just probably a little softer, a little hittier. And right there you see the motion right as it exits the pattern. That's still a little late, I think, for Dick's eyes. I think it's a little late still, but I think he'll make it work for this pair because I don't think he wants to change to anything that would be too drastic off of that.
Now, referring back to the Roth-Holman doubles, obviously knowing someone's game as well as you do with Dick Allen, does that help you make your moves as well if you were, let's say, on the same pair with him?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, it does and it doesn't. It does in the way that I know what he's thinking the lane is doing, so I can get an opinion at least just off what he does with the lane. But my moves are my moves at the same time. I still have to make moves from my game at the right time whenever I feel like it and know what those moves are. They might be coincidentally the same move between us, but it's still my moves.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't really look for others too much. As we see, Marshall, I think, tried to soften up there and get his ball to start a little earlier and at 4 pins. So to me, that's wrong ball for him for this pair. What did he shoot? They shot 203 the game before, so that might just be the wrong ball, period.
Yeah, drops Marshall down to 11th overall. I'll give you a quick rundown of the top 10 here in the PBA World Championship standings after 51 games. No change in the top 3 with Svensson, Belmonte, Troop. Actually, no change in the top 4 with Simonelli. New bowler just getting past Bill O'Neill for 5th place. Matthew Sanders. Matt, of course, looking to sew up PBA Rookie of the Year this year. If he can get, I think, a World Championship finish in the top 5, I definitely think that sews it up for him. 10 pins up on Bill O'Neill, then Smallwood, Matt McNeil, Dick Allen, Anthony Pepe round out your top 10. Pepe, a big 279 in game 1, and that's one of those things we saw Pepe qualify in this Cheetah Championship, and it's a pattern he is very comfortable with.
Very. And Pepe doesn't find himself getting trapped like a lot of other people can get trapped on this pattern where they want to move too far inside and loop it to the gutter too fast, or they want to stay too straight. There's a blatant trap you can get in playing this pattern, but Pepe doesn't find himself falling in that trap too often.
And here's something we haven't said, I think, for the entire run of the World Series of Bowling. Tom Smallwood out of the top 5 overall in the World Championship standings. 197 opening game on this cheetah. Gets Smallwood into 7th, and we all know that this is not one of Tom Smallwood's favorite patterns.
No, it is not.
Have you had a chance to either talk to or work with Trey Ford a little bit? I know you guys are on the same ball staff.
I have
you guys
not.
just happened to cross in passing, you're saying?
Yeah, I've said hello to him. Seems like a very nice kid. I wanted to help him out yesterday when I texted our ball rep and told him to move for Trey because I was watching from the stands. But other than that, I actually haven't physically helped him out, and he's got a very solid base, very solid game to build off of. And obviously, he's bowling the World Championship right now, so bowled great all week. Just about learning more, I'm sure, for him, learning more about angles, speed, and just what his game can actually do and apply it. And here's Dick Allen looking to get back on the 4-bagger, and no, wrap 10.
Was that just because of the little farther right than previous shot? Casual eyes I have, looked like he just got a little farther right.
Potentially, but you want that miss to strike.
Okay.
If you miss right early on this, you need it to strike.
Okay.
So to me, that just means the tightness down lane that the other bowlers created made that a wrap 10. And here's Tommy. Tommy missed that spare there. I didn't see that missed spare there, but he still has 260 on the board. He's 1385 overall. That looks good. Great shot. Great shot there by Tommy. Tommy. And here's G. Peterson looking for a double. 57 in the 4th here.
Yeah, I'm impressed. This is the first time I've had a chance to watch Glenn bowl, and he's been pretty good to watch all week. And you have to say he's kind of one of the lower rev guys here, kind of like a Frankie Lavoie. He's not the 500 rev rate we see have a lot of players, but definitely a good stroke to his game.
Yeah, he throws it harder. He doesn't have an astronomically high rev rate, but he has enough. I mean, he definitely has a good amount of rev on it. And it's just very fast, so he can play those tighter angles. And there's Francois Lavoie with the nice double there. He had a 78 there in the 4th. Here's Marshall looking on the double. This is the tighter lane, I think. He gets it there even faster and get a nice, great shot. That'll be a double for him. And he has 248 max. He's 1472 over. So that'll be a big 240 game for him to get into the 1500 range. He made a big move last night. Marshall did, and he's looking to capitalize on the numbers he created for himself today. Dick Allen.
It looks like this whole threesome decided to move right and get a little more, more speed on it. Just kind of tighten things up and amp it up a touch to get it to hold.
To me, it looks like throwing a little softer, actually. I don't mean to disagree with you.
Is that just to avoid what the original pairing game 1 did on this pair, I assume? They've kind of realized from the ball reaction what they need to move?
Yeah, to me, it's because there's hang on 25 and 26 to the right, and the only way to compensate for that is to softer and move to it a little more. And I believe the pair before it was DJ Archer, Nick Crummell, and Francois Lowe. So I know Nick Crummell for a fact threw a plastic tight ball or plastic right at the 3-pin for the majority of practice. And DJ and Fran were throwing urethane to the gutter, so that's not going to create any hook. But Tommy Jones there with another great shot in the 8th. That makes his 260 still alive. Pacing 230.
So if you knew that from game 1, what the 3 players threw to build the shim, now game 2 you see where these guys are playing the lanes.
Yeah.
What would have been your call on game 3 if you were stepping on this pair next?
I'm immediately hitting it harder and throwing it slower and throwing it faster right and seeing how much hook is on that gutter and if I can play around with it, and if it hangs there, I got to move to it more.
So you want that ball right at 33 feet. You want that ball on first or second board, the way it sounds like is what you're saying.
Close to. I mean, you want it to be right where Dick's ball just was. I mean, Dick's ball directionally was perfect, but this is a little firm, and it just hangs because of that hang they created. And there's your 210. And that's how easy it was to 210 or 2-pin on this pattern.
Yeah, the difference we've seen in a lot of players with the split percentage left during qualifying on this Cheetah Championship as a field, 6.5% of all the balls thrown were splits as a field. If you get into, but you look at somebody like Thomas Larson, who keeps his angles not as steep.
Well, his angles were steep on Cheetah.
Oh, were they on Cheetah?
Oh,
Okay.
They were steep. He was throwing it as quickly to the right as he possibly could without guttering.
He only had 2.6% of splits, 76% carry percentage of strikes, and only 2.6% of the splits.
Nope. He bowled phenomenally well. I mean, it was very, very fun to watch him bowl that well. And he's very good to watch anyway. So Tommy Jones, kind of a lazy 10 there on lane 26. Here's Trey Ford though, looking to get back on the strike train. Triple 9 spare, strike 9 spare, and here is a strike there, late 7. You see him react to it. Almost the blower 7 there. Marshall Kent looking for his 240. He got all over it. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, look at shake it. Ooh. He said, I don't know about that, but parlay it.
Yeah, if you look at the, I mean, you have to figure in qualifying about 1 out of every 7 players was left-handed. It doesn't match the disparity, though. I mean, there were 1,710 pins left by the players during Cheetah Championship qualifying, but there was also 746 7 pins. That's not all left-handers leaving all those 7 pins when there's only probably, 30, 35 left-handers overall in the field.
Exactly. And that tightness down lane that's created by the people throwing urethane with a lot of surface on it, that's going to leave a lot of swish 7s or bash 7s. And when you're throwing resin, it'll be more bash 7, and urethane is more the upper decker 7 or the swish 7. There's like 3 different 7s you can leave. And there's Marshall with swish 10, which is one of the many 10 pins you can leave.
And lots of those messengers going in front of the 10 pin this week.
Look at that
a couple of these patterns.
Lazy down lane just on this pair. I'm sure that same shot struck for him, the last pair. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, not. It's good to get the insight because, like I said, I have kind of the amateur eyes here. What I see and try to relate to the extra frame viewers might not be 100% what it actually is, and we get someone like you in the booth that sees these ball reactions. You've seen them from all these players for 40 games. You know exactly what's going on, and it really helps our fans understand the subtle moves these players are doing to stay in competition. It's not large moves a lot of the time. It's subtle stuff that, unless you're really watching this guy or know his game day in and day out, it's tough to pick up sometimes.
It is. And it just, as you said perfectly, it's microscopic little things that we do. And here's Dick Allen. That looks like a really good shot. Good shot there. So he saves his 2-0 game. He's 1,500 over, so that's huge. That's a huge save because that could have been worse. And everybody seeming to be figuring out 29 and 30. Glenn Peterson on a 4-bagger. Let's see if he makes it 5 here. Looks close. Ooh, light mixer, light dicer.
We've seen a lot of times in cases, not so much this week because of these short 5-game blocks where loft could come into play, that type of thing. Could somebody combat a short pattern like this with loft, or is it really counterproductive to do it?
1,000,000,000% you can do that. Absolutely. That is a very hard trick to do because unless you're lofting the gutter, your body sometimes doesn't feel like it needs to.
Okay.
But if you know how to kind of set up your body to feel a certain way to get it to loft accurately, it's a great move on a short pattern because the fronts, you don't have to worry about it here. I wouldn't say loft is a good move here because you want your ball to get started kind of, as early as possible, really. But loft on, somewhere where the heads are really, really kind of weird, really swirly. Say one shot hooks really early, and if you speed up, it just shoots through. Loft would be a good idea.
I remember a couple years back in Hubbard, Eugene McEwen on Cheetah on that old wood surface. He was lofting the right gutter cap, hitting the half board at 15 feet, throwing his BBs, and that was so you don't see it a lot on Cheetah, but he was definitely doing it. He was doing it really, really good.
Yep. And that's another trick to for those who bowl on some flat patterns. That's a really good trick to blend out down lane coverage, down lane reaction. If you loft it kind of through the fronts without grabbing it, that's the key though. Like loft without grab. It's got to be projection loft. It can't be grab loft, which is the very different reactions.
Well, we've got split down the middle next game. 3 lefties, 3 righties. Balanced coverage here in extra frame. Fair and balanced, as we like to say.
Very nice.
Anthony Pepe, Matthew Sanders, Matthew McNeil are lefties. B.J. Moore, Bill O'Neill, Don Barrett are right-handers. 6 quality players. Coming in next, Zeke, you want to stick with us for another game here?
If you guys want me to.
Absolutely. Always good to get the insight on what's happening on the lanes. Zeke Bate, Phil Brylow, Craig Elliott here, and we've got plenty of action remaining here for the second to last round of the PBA World Championship qualifying cashers rounds. Rolling around here at the National Bowling Stadium. Cheetah Championship pattern. Second to last round of PBA World Championship qualifying. Bill O'Neill, Matt McNeil, BJ Moore. Your threesome on 25 and 26. Get you the 52 game scoring update momentarily as that comes through from the tournament office. Kirk Von Kruger, John Weber working hard on those scores. And once again, our shout out, best wishes, get better. We know you're watching at home. Mary Von Kruger, we know you'd rather be here than back home.
It's much love, Mary.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Everybody misses you not being here this week, and we hope everything keeps going better for you, and we get a chance to see you in February when the Go Bowling 2018 PBA Tour begins at the historic home of the PBA Tournament of Champions, AMF Riviera Lanes in Fairlawn, Ohio. Have you ever been to Riviera Lanes?
I have. I've never bowled in, but I've been there. BJ Moore on front four on 25 and 26, so his adjustment for that lane has been good. It's Matt Sanders here. Oh, late 8 standing. Matt Sanders coming off a 227 game. Everybody on this pair shooting a decent game. 237 for Pepe, 237 for Dom as well.
Dom going, yeah, the wrong way down the standings board yesterday, however.
Trying to bring himself back up today.
He's down to 24th currently after 51 games of qualifying.
Oh, Bill O'Neill with a late messenger. Connects his three-bagger there. Strike spare three-bagger for Bill O'Neill, 280 max, 1548 overall. So that'd be a huge 280 game for him to get about 1620. Be good.
Yeah, and after O'Neill's, I guess you want to say, lack of performance the last couple of games during Cheetah Championship qualifying, he held on to the number 16 spot. He's looking for a little revenge on the 5 games so far this morning. He started off with 235 game 1. Bounced, I wouldn't say bounced back with a 195, but once again, pair to pair, you mentioned it the last game, Zeke. You got to watch where these other guys are playing to get the idea and get the good jump on throwing strikes right away. And you get to that second, third, fourth, fifth pair.
Have to. Because it literally dictates where you have to play that pair. I mean, fresh is fresh, so you can start it as McNeil does a McNeil. But you can control your fresh pairs no matter what. So, you know, you don't have to worry too much about those, but what do you do when you switch? You know, it can be completely different shapes on the same pattern. So the moves can be severe, or they can actually help you in what you're doing. It just depends. As here's Matt going for his 7-pin. Bill O'Neill looking for a 4-bagger here, get himself in the 6th frame.
McNeil will see him in Scorpion Championship match play.
As well as Cheetah,
as well as, I believe you are correct with the Cheetah. Oh, maybe not the Cheetah.
No Cheetah for him?
See Cheetah.
Bill O'Neill. Light dicer, 4-bagger.
Yeah, that's got to be a pretty interesting matchup. O'Neill and Larson that first round, a man that was just consistent all the way through, popping big games. I believe Larson finished the game well above 260 to lock up the number 1 spot, while O'Neill was going backwards at the time. And match play is always a different animal once you get to it here at the World Series of Bowling, because it's got to change your mentality, knowing you could be out in 3 straight games that first round.
Maybe to some it does. To me, I don't have a change in mentality. I always treat every game and every shot like I need it. So to me, it's the same mentality going into match play. Regardless of who my opponent is or what my opponent does, my job is to beat the lane. So if I beat the lane for 3 games, I feel like I'm going to win that match 95% of the time, barring some unluckiness or if my opponent finds a way to beat the lane faster. So, you know, to me that's the same philosophy. But there's Matt McNeil getting the 7-pin out the way he wished he would the shot before.
Do you watch your opponent in match play? Or
Not really.
No? Okay.
Unless they're doing something crazy to the lanes ahead of time to either try to screw me up or help their look out. It's one of the, I mean, that's the only time I pay attention.
Okay.
I look at how much surface he's using and where to know how fast I have to move, but after that, when it's in, like when it's during, I don't really watch. O'Neal with a 5-bagger going into 7th. McNeil is Dutch 200ing, looking for his first double. We have Dom Barrett trying to pick up a left side baby split. It's a very interesting combination of pairs here as we see kind of what has been a little high scoring on the stream, 29 and 30 being far lower scoring this game.
Interesting that Dom went up the left side of the lane at that spare, knowing how dry those outside boards are going to be on the left side.
I'm shocked at that too, but he just must have a good feel for his spare ball. Great shot there for McNeil, as McNeil does his thing. There should be an over-under counter for how many times McNeil throws his hands up in the air on live stream.
Yeah, I gave him a new nickname the other day, Gumby.
Yeah,
He's just flopping around out there.
His arms and hands are very flopacious.
Animated.
They flop a lot. Here's BJ picking up a 3-6-10. O'Neal coming up here on 26, looking for his 6-bagger. Couldn't see it, but a great shot on 29 by Pepe. Give him a double going into the 5th. Here's O'Neal. Looks pretty good. Oh, and another kick out on the 10 late. Amazing shot by O'Neal. So O'Neal's looking huge here with this 280, if he can get it.
Yeah. Looking to crawl back up those overall World Championship standings.
Absolutely. I mean, he's right there. He's in 7th. So this 280 is big time for Bill O'Neal. Big time deal, Bill O'Neal. Here's BJ Moore. He's pacing 220, but after a 4-bagger start, he wants more than that. He's not happy with. That's not good. Luckily, no 8-pin with it, so just a 210. It's makeable. It's hard, but makeable. And here's McNeil looking for his 3-bagger and potentially another hands in the air moment for him. And that doesn't look good. Oh, still hands in the air though. Slow and left, or slow and right, excuse me. Slow and tugged. Almost got away with it. Oh, that looked close for BJ there. Here's Pepe looking for his 3-bagger. Close. Great shot. Great shot by Anthony Pepe.
Just out to our left, Ryan Simonelli, front 8. He's 493 to start the day and continuing to make a move here in game 3.
Wow. Yeah, and Simonelli, 247 the game before, so he is making a run. Well, more of a run than he's already made. And he's still making a huge run. Simonelli up in the 9th down there. O'Neal up in the 9th. Great shot for O'Neal. This is a huge 280 for him.
And it's a big bounce back from last year here in this building. He finished 56th in the World Championship standings, failing to make a single match play appearance. So, you know, there's a little redemption for Bill here after his, well, failure to make any money here at the World Series of Bowling last year.
Yeah. But he's still great.
Oh, yeah.
He's great.
I think that's what kind of forced him to make a lot of changes to this game. He talked about that early in 2017. It was going to be a working year in progress.
Yeah.
Keep trying to improve, and it's tough keeping up with the I hate to say kids like you coming out here, but the younger players that are heading out, and you know, as they age, it's you hear these guys, I got to work harder, I got to work better, because you guys that come out here throwing the ball faster, stronger, You guys are smart with your lane moves right away from all the experience you've had before getting to the PBA Tour, and it really makes a difference on what these older players need to do to stay on top.
Yeah, but we are kids. You know, you're allowed to call us kids because we are. You look at the prime of a bowler. It's not been the age group that's been shown a lot. You know what I mean? Like a prime of a bowler is 30 to 55. Yeah. It's a long prime, but it's an older prime. So those guys, while they say great shot by O'Neill, first one in the 10th. While the older guys say we have to keep up with these young guys. Well, these young guys learn from you. That's why we're an evolved game. That's why the young guys are so strong, is because of we had Bill O'Neill, we had Norm Duke, we had P. Weber, we had all these guys that we could grow up and watch. And Bill O'Neill's not old. So, but more guys like Duke and Ozio. Like for me, Ozio, I watched David Ozio a lot. And I watched, a lot of players, just how they played. I watched Brian Voss a lot. I watched Mike Machuga a lot. I watched Brad Angelo. I watched all these guys that could just get it done. Brian Himmler's another one. And you learn from them. You learn what they did and how they did it, and then you adapt it to your style and your game and how you play the lanes. And that's how we evolve as a sport. And that's why you see so many talented young guys, because they grew up with an era that gave them knowledge that they could use. Now, while on tour, they didn't spread around knowledge like that. Us young kids were learning.
Yeah. And basically, you're wrapping up your first real full season on the PBA Tour. Your first event was the PBA Fall Swing last year at Thunderbolt in Allen Park, and as you said, it was kind of a learning process. You almost made your way into some decent money in the PBA Bear Open, 21st place finish. It's not bad for one of your first close. PBA patterns. And that's not an easy pattern. Well, there's not a single easy pattern on here in the PBA Tour. Let's be honest. These guys might be making it look easy this week, but there's a reason why they're scoring, and we had one of the ball reps in earlier this week, Mike Devaney, and he was talking about how these patterns with the taper from the front of the lane and the back of the lane is really what's making it conducive to the scoring. Does that taper affect ball choice and ball surface a lot for you as it goes along, or is it more just the length of the pattern and the overall volume?
The overall shape of the pattern is really where you get it. Like the downlane taper is not going to change the scoring pace from like 190 to 250. It's just not that big of a difference. Well, it is, but it isn't. Like you still need a certain shape on each pattern, and you figure that shape out as you go. To me, I don't really worry about too much what's on the lane. As far as like beforehand, I make my decisions of what balls to bring. That's when I worry about the graph. But when I'm throwing shots, I don't care what the graph says, because what's out there is now my graph. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's where the transition comes, from book knowledge to actually applying what you're trying to do. And the appliance of knowledge is where bowling gets really tricky. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, because a prime example of that, yes, it may have been the 35-foot version of this chameleon pattern, but Jonesboro, Arkansas, the lane surface there kind of changed up how everyone was playing the pattern. You had your 16th place finish there, and that was a grind that week.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
Scoring. Very low scoring, and that was extremely hard, and I love extremely hard. So I was very happy to make that cut.
What was your key to keeping the ball in play that week? Because we saw it seemed like anything outside of 6th, 7th board just did not want to hook on a 35-foot pattern that everybody thinks, it's going to hook out the window. Didn't do it at Jonesboro.
No, it didn't. I actually only had 3 balls for that tournament. I had brought 6, but and because I was combining that tournament and the Lubbock, Texas regional, I brought 6 balls, and 3 of them had yet to be cleared by USBC. So 3 of them were going to be cleared that Monday, but they weren't cleared for that tournament. So I had urethane, a truth pearl, and a truth, I believe. And those were the 3 balls I had to use. So my goal was to hit the headpin, and I did that. So I was happy that worked. But Matt Sanders here looking at 260, 265, yep. In the 9th. Get there. Good shot. He's just throwing it better and better. He's just gotten better and better.
And that Billy Hardwick Memorial, just polyester equipment that week. I know that didn't hit your schedule this year. Is that something if it pops on next year and it fits in the schedule? Is that something you'd like to try, or
maybe?
Okay.
I'm very indecisive to gimmick tournaments. I guess not gimmick. It's not a bad thing to be a gimmick tournament. I don't want to make it seem like it's a bad thing, because some people use the word gimmick negatively.
Yeah.
But it's not a negative thing. It's just I don't know if I really want to
Well,
spend the flight cost to do that.
Well, it's a totally different release you're going to need with that type of ball as well.
Right.
I think a lot of people just don't get it where, you know, you talk to some of these older players that like a Norm Duke or a Brian LeClaire that grew up using polyester. It's a different type of hit and lift you put on those polyester balls with pancake wake blocks than you have to do with just making these bowling balls tumble down lane with these more aggressive cores and cover stocks.
Yeah, and I have no problem with doing that. I don't want to be, you know, $600, $700 in before I throw a ball.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, if it's drivable, I'm going to do it, absolutely. But if it's another, I have to fly to it, I'll have to make that decision.
Yeah. So
but yeah, if it was anywhere drivable, I would have done it last year.
When's the last time you actually had to use like a polyester ball in league for like strike shots? Has it been forever? Have you ever had to do
Absolutely,
that?
I practiced that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I practice for hand position tricks, and I'll throw urethane and plastic in really weird spots after league.
Okay.
During league, I don't really do it as much just because I don't really find it necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big like show-off kind of guy, so I know some guys do it and they're like, oh, look, I can throw plastic in league and average 700 or whatever. But to me, that's not like that impressive. It's just you can
house patterns.
Yeah,
first of all.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of cool. But I do it. I use it for a reason. You know, I practice it so that when the time comes and I need a shape like this, I know what I'm looking for and I know what my body's doing. So. There has been times where there's been like 48, 49-foot patterns where you've needed to make your ball look like it's plastic, but it's resin. You know what I mean? So it's a trick. It's an absolute trick for sure, but I love it. I'll bowl it next year if it's drivable, absolutely. But
yeah, we're going to wrap up with this couple of
260
deliveries from Sanders and a guy you've beaten heads against in the Central region for a little bit of a while now, Tom Smallwood. We're going to take a look back at the first World Championship with Tom Smallwood earning that title, the Cinderella story, as they said, for that
he's
year.
He's such a good guy. I love Tom Smallwood.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Tom Smallwood. I'm a big fan of a lot of players out here, but Tom Smallwood, I'm a big fan of, for sure.
No doubt. So Sanders finishing up, and a look at Tom Smallwood coming up next.
Tour. Here he can make 50,000 because of shots like that. Malott in the third. Opening turkey for the big nasty, and he is making all kinds of adjustments. Remember, Wes Malott opened up with a four-bagger in his semifinal win, then imploded in the fifth and sixth, was able to survive. Smallwood in the fourth. Come on, yeah, 10. And the avid bird hunter finds himself a turkey. Now in the fifth on the right lane, he has been perfect through four.
The 2-4-5-8 for right-handers and the 3-5-6-9 for lefties. I love throwing plastic spare balls at just about any spare because it doesn't matter what the lane conditions are like.
So Malott Off a spare in the 5th, we begin the 6th. Leaves the 4-pin.
He's having a little bit of trouble with the approach.
Thunderbolt in Allen Park, Michigan. Here he is looking for a 4-bagger. Now, I did some bowling with regional tournaments leading up to this one to get myself ready. I may have bowled a little too much. My thumb feels like meatloaf right now, and he's having some issues with it. As Smallwood steps up in the 7th and goes through the nose.
Let me tell you something. Bowlers bowl with bloody thumbs all the time. But talk about bad timing. Tom Small, love it.
That's why he's the big nasty.
Bad mammal. Eyeing up the World Championship, Wes Malott, left lane.
Sixth strike of the title match. Working on a spare. Whoa, and gets another Brooklyn. But he stares it down, and that's not an intimidating stare. We begin the 10th of the first fault major of the year. Through the nose, and gets a pretty good break, leaving just the 10th.
Here comes the spare ball. See if there's any issue there with that thumb.
Strike from the big nasty. Strike and then 7 pins for the title. He just did the dirty work. Seeking his first tour title, and it'll be a major. Needs 7 pins for the win. Dreams do come true.
One of the gutsiest performances I've seen in a long, long time.
Crowd on their feet in Wichita. Goosebumps, people. Celebrate, Tom. Celebrate. Better than I am. The PBA World Championship goes to Tom Smallwood, his first ever victory on the PBA Tour, and it just happens to be a major.
Just 2 games remaining on the cheetah pattern. 7 games remaining for overall PBA World Championship qualifying here from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno. Phil Brylow, Craig Elliott, and guest color expert Zeke Bate in the booth. And you had to be pretty impressed the first time you saw this young man. Was it the Masters this year the first time you saw Darren Tang? Or had you seen him bowl before that? Okay.
No, I've seen him for a while now. I've seen him bowl 4 years? 3-4 years now?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, his brother made the show too, right?
Yep.
Michael and Darren? Yeah.
And, yeah, the battle they had prior to the championship match. And, of course, Belmonte, 4 out of 5 years now, the words USBC Masters champion after his name. That's an incredible run for that type of tournament with the 3-game total pin matches till you get the TV, and to have that type of run is
incredible.
That's one for the ages. They talk about the years that Don Carter or Dick Weber used to win the World's Invitational Tournament or the BPA All-Star consecutive years, but yeah, what Belmo's done 3 in a row and 4 out of 5 is, yeah.
He's in the running for his 9th major.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. His 9th major. I mean, he's going to win it eventually. Maybe not this week, but he's going to win his 9th major. So it's, you know.
and there's been a few second place finishes as well. And one of the titles he doesn't have after his name is World Champion.
Mm-hmm. That is one.
Because I believe when
EJ's led that the last 2 years.
Yeah, I believe in 2014, Belmo had the chance against Malat.
Yeah, he did. And that's right.
Malat took it home.
Malat with the gold ball, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that the gold ball show?
One of the two gold ball shows from Malat. That ball saw a lot of play at the South Point Bowling Center.
Yes, it did.
Over the years.
Remember that West Malat sell pearl though? On the King of Bowling,
that's true.
300'd
Oh yes.
twice.
Yeah, the all-time.
That was a good show.
I think that would be the all-time average record for TV.
For a whole show. Yeah, that was
what
ridiculous.
He was doing.
2 300s. It's a tricky spare there. Great pickup by Darren. 3-6, 9-10 is very tricky on this. He could easily chop it either way. This is the first time I've seen Daniel Franson bowl. Was this week, and I really like the way he throws the ball. It's very powerful, but also still very under control. So when you see something like that, you always just kind of navigate at least me, I navigate my eyes towards it. Kind of an abbreviated follow through, but he gets all that he needs at the bottom anyway, with good footwork. As we watch. Yeah. Hips nice and open and projects to the right effortlessly. Darren Tang back up. Third frame, he's 6 spared, but he's looking to get back on track here in the 4th. Yeah, look a little left to target. Flat 7-10. Wrong replay. Pins do not like to bounce out of the back here, so 7-10s are a lot more difficult than they already normally are.
Yeah, we haven't had a single one made this week, thanks to our friends at Lane Talk.
I've only bounced 1 pin out in general, like the entire week. So I mean, he could clip it.
Ooh,
nope.
He made a peek.
Belmo 5-10 down there on lane 34. I don't know if that was in the pocket, but I'm gonna have to assume it was. And Jesper Svensson at 22-21. Adios. See you on the show.
See, here, and that's the thing. What pattern is Jesper going to pick? Because he gets his choice of the 4.
Yeah,
and he hasn't had a bad. Yeah.
Which one can I throw urethane on? Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, 416 7-10s so far during the 8,358 games of the World Series of Bowling to this point, and none of those 7-10s converted. We've had 2 4-6 7-10s made.
Oh, nice.
The 248 that were left.
Good shot by Franson. That was an ace by Franson there. Very good shot. Front 5 for him. Sweet Pickford split the shot before. I'm going to hope he makes this, because this split is makeable on Cheetah because of the free hook to the right. But so you can create enough angle coming back at the 3-6 to make this. Let's see if he does it. It looks a little left. Oh, close though.
A big story right now, the free fall, Tom Smallwood, 196, I believe that was the last game, or was that 190? 190 last game for Smallwood, drops in the 1496.
No, I want him to make up ground. The next. He'll make up the ground the next 5.
Yeah, once he gets the Scorpion, a little longer pattern in his wheelhouse.
He's got to get out of this pattern now. Close. Just keep close. Darren Tang with the strike there. In the 5th, he's very not happy about his ball reaction the first 5 frames. Well, at least the last 3 frames, because the first 2 were strikes.
Yeah, Tom Smallwood, last of the 49 players involved right now for the first 3 games of Cheetah, minus 57 for Smallwood.
Oh, no.
For his first 3.
No bueno. Daniel France and Alex close again.
Yeah. Game 1,
close.
Game 1, 197. Game 2, 156. Game 3, 190 for Smallwood.
Well, I hope he's got strike 8 spare now. I hope he goes off the sheet here for 280. Saves a block a little bit.
32% of his balls for strikes.
Oh, that's not a good striking percentage.
No.
That is 0% good striking percentage.
I mean, I can guarantee we'll bring up his lane talk stats momentarily for the first 53 games as we take a look at our updated standings in your upper left corner of your screen. I guarantee you Smallwood's percentage to this point has to be 65 to 70%.
Chris Rowan with a good shot on there on 25. Very nice, although he might not be the happiest about it. Perhaps conversing with Connor about how tight these lanes are. Or not how tight, but how different the pair is, excuse me.
Yeah, Smallwood overall for the entire World Series, 60%, but just 32% in this round. And now he crosses over. Smallwood just crossed over for a strike, and you can just see the not happy smirk on the way back.
See, we saw Chris Warren and Connor Pickford talking there. How much talking goes on to players during a block, and how much of the stuff – do you ever know when somebody's just not being fully truthful with you, sharing information? Does that ever happen?
Yeah.
Because you guys are all
Definitely.
I mean, you're friends, you play together, but, you know, I don't want to say, hey, this lane – you know what I mean?
Yeah, I personally give everyone the info they request of me. If they, you know, even if I don't quite like you as like whatever, you know, there's only one person I really don't care for, but it doesn't matter. But
I'm
I'll
hoping
pretty
you
much
like me more soon.
I love you, Craig. Don't worry, I love you guys. No, but I give info to anyone who asks it. Some people may have different philosophies, but my philosophy is, you know, regardless of the info I give you, I can still beat you. So, and that's to anyone, you know what I mean? It doesn't
Beautiful.
matter. So that's my attitude. So when someone goes, you know, what do you think of this lane? I'll go, yeah, I think it's 2 in this, and this is what I'm playing. I'll tell them entirely truthful. I have had some people tell me stories of people telling them wrong information purposely. I have had people tell me that I've told someone wrong information purposely because I don't care for them. And so I've seen it. I've seen it happen. No one's told me purposely incorrect information. And if they did, it didn't work out for them because I found it correct anyway. So
Yeah, I mean,
like,
during
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, during the heat of competition in other sports, it's not like guys are, you know, you're not getting your pitch, you know, the catcher's not sitting behind Mookie Betts going, hey, this guy's going to throw you a fastball, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
You know, it's a risk you take as a professional athlete. You're going to get information. It's up to you to decipher, you know, whether it's, you know, right or whether the guy's just throwing you a load of BS to throw you off your game.
Yeah.
If you're willing to ask, you got to be willing to take the consequences to go with it too.
Exactly. And you know, if I know a player is genuine and honest, like with me and Tomas this week, me and Tomas Larson communicated constantly, every pair. And we broke down every fresh pair the way we wanted to break it down, with the exception of one. But we broke down every fresh pair the right way. We talked about every pair, you know, and, you know, I knew he was genuine 2 games in when I told him a move and he moved it and did it and struck, and then 2 games later he comes up to me and tells me a move, you know, and then it works.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's genuine, so I can communicate with you the rest of the tournament. And you just have to decipher who you can do that with and who you can't. You can't do that with everyone, so don't try.
Did you prefer crossing with the same guy for 40 games, or would you have liked to have seen it maybe mixed up after each of the 10-game blocks?
I mean, my pair was really good. I had Blaine Fletcher, JT Action Jackson, Tomas Larson, and Mateo Hernandez from Argentina. And all of those guys, very, very good people. So I had 0 issue crossing with them at all.
Yeah, I'm sure with JT Jackson on your pair, there were a few amusing moments during
Yeah.
and some good stories.
Yeah, there definitely is. Chris Warren, dutching so far. Ooh, the light trip 2 on the lane 25. Wow.
Pickford just did the same thing on
Yes,
that
he did.
lane 25. And, of course, you know what's going to happen a frame or two later. They'll be a little more flush towards the pocket, and it'll be a 7-10.
Hopefully not.
Because
yeah.
isn't
Hopefully
that
not.
that kind of reaction where if you're tripping twos like that, you might be a little more flush in the pocket? And
It's kind of. The worrisome one is when you trip a 2 like that, and then you move right and soften up, and it goes through the face. That's when you're in deep trouble. Like
Yeah.
the 7-10's not so bad, but it's when you like the wrap 10 there is that kind of hit. But
okay.
yeah, like if you trip a 2, move a board right and soften up, and it goes through the face or Brooklyn and just has no chance, you're in trouble. But you want to make that move anyway because that's the move. Like that is the move. But if you're in the wrong ball, it's going to be the wrong move.
Okay.
But at least then it tells you you're in the wrong ball. Like you make the 1-0 or make the 1-1 right, and it's wrong, and you're like, okay, now I'm in the wrong ball, or I'm just in the wrong area in general. Like you have to make a much bigger move than anticipated.
Did you have any fights with yourself this week about I got to change balls now, and then you hold off? Maybe not yet. And then you wait a frame or two, and then you realize, yeah, I should have done it. Any of those fights with yourself this week? Because it's not easy sometimes. You're the one that knows how your ball shapes best, obviously.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like a couple of shots get off your hand. Was it me? Was it the ball? Is it tough to do that in the middle of a 40-game grind?
It's some of the ball changes that you miss. Like bowling doesn't give you that info to let you know you were supposed to throw that ball.
Okay.
So you know afterwards when you try it out like a game later, and it just made no sense, but it worked. You know what I mean? So some of the moves are so astronomically weird that you know after the fact, but nothing told you ahead of time to do it. So you can't be hard on yourself then.
Yeah.
Like I had a couple of that happen this week, and there are the moves where I thought about it, and most of the time when I thought about it and it made sense, I did it this week. I didn't wait too many frames. I can't remember waiting any frames once I really decided. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take me long to decide. If it makes logical sense in my head, if this and this happens, so this happens. You know what I mean? I just break it down to logic and try to make my selections that way. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. But at least I didn't refuse the information that I got. You know what I mean? I'm not twisting the information that I'm getting and trying to make it something it's not, or trying to make it seem a certain way. I'm just taking it in and then using that and then executing.
You're not square pegging a round hole with your info.
Exactly. Here's Chris Warren looking for a double. Ooh, good shot. Lane 26, probably the more hooking of the two lanes. Lane 25 a little tighter, as Franson not good.
And he looks confused on that shot, like he thought he threw it well.
Yeah. Potentially maybe a little grabby, just overhooked, who knows. I didn't quite see the shot, unfortunately, but hopefully he makes it.
It's not that often this week where you actually saw a guy come back fooled on a shot, where they just go, I really thought I nailed it. I mean, sometimes they'd leave, maybe a 2-pin or a 4-pin if they were a little high. You didn't see, five left at the back of the lane when they thought they were going to be 10 in the pit.
Yeah. Good shot, Chris. Very good shot.
And Franson took out the 3-6-10 on the spare attempt, so he finishes at 2 1/4.
Yeah, not the way he wanted to finish there with the start he had, but still a solid game.
Yeah, it's still tough giving 30 pins off, 33 pins
hard
off of the scorecard.
But mentally, you just have to take that because that's what you shot. Like, you threw the best shots you could in that scenario. If you didn't, you'll be upset yourself. But if you did, you can't be upset. You just got to go on to the next game. Like, mentally, you just have to stay super in it. And that's what it's really hard to do when you're lower in the standings and you have so many games you're bowling. It's really hard to mentally stay there, but you have to, because if you don't, you'll just drop even further, and then the landslide doesn't stop there. So bowling is definitely a very mentally tactile sport. Tactful. What word am I looking for? Tactful.
Well, it's both because it's
Tactical.
a field game.
Yeah.
It's tactile. It's very much of a field game. It's tactical because of the angles you have to use to approach the pocket. There's a bunch of tactful words you can use
it's all
to
of
describe
above.
the game.
It's
Yes,
D.
indeed.
I mean, this is the hardest mental game on the planet, mental sport on the planet. And anyone who says otherwise just doesn't really know. I'm sorry. I've played 5 other sports, like maybe not at super high levels, but there's no other sport where the playing field is invisible. So
Yes.
that alone,
That alone can make it brutal.
As Darren's going to strike out and look like he hated that shot, but he's going to strike out, so that'll be a good game for him.
So Zeke, your match here Thursday afternoon against Ray Lucier.
Yep.
39 and 40. That pair is going to be in play this evening. They're going to be shifting pairs for this last Scorpion qualifying round. You're going to get yourself a tasty beverage and camp on that pair for 5 games and see how guys throw it there, or is not that much information you can really take off of it at this point in the tournament?
There's not that much, because what I did was something that a lot of people either didn't do or couldn't do on that pattern, and you know, I'm going to try to repeat the same thing. And to me, it doesn't. Nothing that I think, you know, Raymond, I haven't seen him bowl, but I've heard about him, and you know, some of my friends are friends with him, so I'm going to respect his talent and respect his ability, but nothing he does is going to affect my look unless he purposely does it.
Okay.
So, and I'll pay attention to that, you know what I mean, if he purposely does something. But I'm going to play him a certain way for my game, and I'm sure he will, and then we'll, you know, read the pattern as it goes, and then the next, you know, if I read the pattern, beat the pair as I should, and go on to the next round, I'll attack the lanes the same way.
If he tries to play you in a game of Call of Duty after the black, don't fall for it.
It will not happen. That will 100% not happen. I will play him in a game of Super Smash Brothers.
Oh.
I would definitely do that. But
I've
Call of
never
Duty is
been
not
good
my
at that
game.
Yeah, Call of Duty's not mine either,
No.
unfortunately. More of a Diablo 3 kind of guy.
He's extremely good at it, though. He's like extremely good at Call of Duty. It's ridiculous.
Jesper Svensson, he's on the
He's on
front
front
eight
Yep.
over on 33 and 34. Let's can we get an angle on that? We can get kind of an angle on it.
He can potentially get to 23-21 after this game over. 23-21 over.
I don't think they've ever
What?
used that high of a number in a PBA World Championship before, even after all the qualifying games were done back in the day.
Unbelievable is what that is.
Yes.
That's what I see on the show. There was someone 10 games ago that said that. I can't remember who it
And it
was, but
holds-
they were like, we'll
it
see
holds
Svensson
true.
on the show. That's the next time you'll see him anywhere close to anyone else.
Well, we'll get a look at Svensson when he steps up on lane 34 here shortly.
That pitch black?
We'll have to give you a little, yeah. We'll have to give you
he's in by almost 500
Yeah.
ahead of fifth. So yeah, I think
Yeah. What's he ahead of second?
with 6 games to go, 300 ahead of
Yeah.
Elmo. So
He's 300 ahead of second place, and he's about to shoot 300.
yeah, he's
What are you doing
I
to
like
this
his
pattern,
chances.
Jesper? What are you doing?
Here he comes.
No regard. Was that 7? That looked like a flat
It
7.
looked like a 7.
I think the answer to your question, what does he do in this pattern? Anything he wants.
Anything. Jesper Svensson is
Yeah,
a
that was a
striking
7.
machine when he sees it. When he sees it, he's just, bye. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful time.
But
Need
as
to
always,
work on your Swedish accent there.
I
Zeke.
know.
But as always, to format the finals for TV, it comes down to one game. And we saw the huge lead Jacob Buttroff had at the U.S. Open, and by the time you got the TV,
Yeah, it's
your
all
lead
one
doesn't
game.
matter.
Nope,
But the good news is you only need to win one game to get the title. The bad news is you only need to lose one game to not get the title.
Yeah. And that's the scary part of the show. Like, heads up, let's go. You know, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to dig down deep, win that match somehow, some way. And if you don't, you approach it the next tournament. Try to give yourself the opportunity again.
Yes, indeed. Well, Zeke, thanks for sitting in with us for a few games here in the Extra Frame booth. It's appreciated. Good luck to you on Thursday afternoon for the Scorpion Championship. I think you're going to have a few more fans on Extra Frame cheering you on that initial match
Hopefully.
you have against Ray Lucier. So
Hopefully everyone in the world watches on Extra Frame.
I think
Every single person.
I think they will be.
That'd be amazing. Thank you guys
Thanks
so much
again.
for having
Appreciate
me.
it, Zeke.
Much love, y'all.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Sneak peek at Richie Teese's last shot off to our right. Some pin carry for you. Go, go, get out of there.
You silly 10-pin trying to stand against the might of the biscuit. Once again, the flavor of the World Series of Bowling definitely evident on our extra frame pairs this game. Only 2 of the 6 players from the United States, with Vi and Low Shutter on with Richie Teese from England, and then on this pair, all international with Sam Cooley. We got a chance to talk to him in one of our Facebook Live press conferences yesterday. Unfortunately for Sam on that shot, the pocket 7-10. Our Scorpion Championship qualifying leader, Arturo Quintero. I'm sure he'll be looking forward to getting back on that Scorpion pattern this evening. The last World Championship qualifying round starts tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time here from Reno. And we're still 0 for the World Series on 7-10 conversions. Kim Balabi, who made the finals, he'll actually face Sam Cooley the opening round of the PBA Cheetah Championship presented by PBA Bowling Challenge Match Play Rounds. Balabi qualified in the number 5 spot. Cooley the number 12. Winner of that match in the round of 16 advances to take on the winner of the Parker Bone Anthony Pepe match to get to the ESPN finals.
You saw that 7-10 from Cooley, but take a look at this body position here. Let's back this up a little bit. Not back up too much. Oh, all right, let's not back it up. Well, trust me, he is in great body position at release. Generates a lot of power. Smooth, fluid arm swing that grab the left ear type follow through that a lot of the players are going to nowadays. You know, getting the shoulder in the right position and generating an absolute ton of power. And that's just, as we saw in the last match, lane 25 does not hook quite as much as 26. Arturo Quintero. Svensson increased his lead over Jason Belmonte. Simonelli in 3rd, Troop 4th. Matt Sanders still hanging on to 5th. He is 17 pins ahead of Bill O'Neill for that 5th spot.
mean, Svensson's dominance right now, just amazing. Only three other players have had a higher qualifying block through the first 4 games this morning than Svensson. Simonelli's gotten up in the 3rd position with his plus 206 4-game total. Westmont made a move, plus 207 4-game total, as West the 15th. And Chris Warren, I mean, Chris Warren was down in 38th position beginning of this round, and Warren's start of plus 208 has him up to 25th. That's a nice chunk of change Chris Warren got himself back in his wallet if he continues to stay there. And another missed single pin by Sam Cooley, and the frustration for Cooley becoming more and more evident.
Hey, Belmo with a chance to take out part of Svensson's lead. Front 5 for Belmo, front 4, and a 9 count for Svensson. Got to find something.
You got to find
there,
it,
right?
yeah. Every little bit helps. Yeah.
I'll take that couple of pins. Yeah, 119 pins between Belmo and Simonelli. Simonelli's shot 1,006 his first 4 today, so he's picked up 60 pins on Belmo. As we're getting in this 5th and final game on Cheetah, and again 8 p.m. Eastern. Back for 5 final games in the World Championship on Scorpion.
I mean, just looking back to the last couple of World Championships, I mean, the battle for the 1 spot the past 2 years at the National Bowling Stadium has come down to the final game. Back in 2014 at World Series of Bowling 6, West Malott only had a 120 pin lead after qualifying was completed over Mike Fagan for the number 1 spot. EJ Tackett's lead ended up being, after a big position round game, 131 pins over Dom Barrett last year. This is just an unprecedented, to my memory, lead someone has had here in the PBA World Championship qualifying standings. Quintero looking to get the big finish towards getting back on what seemed to be his favorite pattern here this week, the Scorpion, when we return for qualifying at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the paralyzed 5 for Quintero has him shaking his head. Balabi, front 9, not happy with the release, just gets the 10 out. Nothing like getting a little boost on the scoreboard, get a few more positions under your belt prior to getting to the break before our final qualifying round this evening. With Balabi currently in 34th position, perfect game here will definitely get him leapfrogging quite a few players coming into the break. He was only 100 pins behind his lane mate here, Sam Cooley. Obviously, Cooley, his maximum score here being 215. He will be right on Cooley's tail getting into our final 5 games this evening and moving up 10 spots on the leaderboard. That's a nice little addition to the paycheck if Balabi can stay there tonight. And of course, you'll see these two players with Balabi and Cooley battling it out in that round of 16, kicking off our Thursday coverage, the last day of extra frame coverage from the World Series of Bowling. No love for the 10. Balabi stunned that it didn't fall for him. But a good finish to the black for Kim Balabi out of Thailand. Coverage wrapping up here of this cheetah pattern. 1 pattern remaining for our PBA World Championship competitors. That is Scorpion. That begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. For Craig Elliott, I'm Phil Bridlow. Parents, take the kids bowling because they will have fun for life. And join us to see the crowning of the qualifying leader without too much of a doubt tonight. Jesper Svensson at 8 p.m.